The idea that the Titanic was cursed is a popular myth that has grown over time, but there is no credible evidence to support this theory. However, the tragedy surrounding the Titanic has given rise to various superstitions and stories that suggest it might have been cursed. Here are a few key points that fuel this notion. 1. The Titanic Curse and its origins. The Titanic, which sank on its maiden voyage in April 1912, claimed the lives of over 1,500 people, making it one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history. The scale of the tragedy and the shock it caused sparked a range of conspiracy theories and superstitions. Some people began to suggest that the ship had been doomed from the start. Number 2. The Book Futility. One of the earliest connections to a curse comes from a novel titled Futility, also known as The Wreck of the Titan, written by Morgan Robertson in 1898, 14 years before the Titanic disaster. The plot of the novel centers around a fictional ship called the Titan, which sinks after hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic. The similarities between the Titan and Titanic, both were described as unsinkable and both hit icebergs, led some to claim that the Titanic was somehow fated or cursed to repeat the events of the novel. Before, the unlucky passengers. Some passengers on the Titanic had strange or even eerie coincidences related to their lives. For example, William Thomas Ste, a famous British journalist, had written about the dangers of maritime disasters and even predicted the sinking of a ship like the Titanic in his writings. This has led to some people claiming that Ste in particular was cursed or involved in some kind of supernatural fate. Number 5. The Curse of the Mummy. Another connection to the Titanic curse comes from the popular myth about an ancient Egyptian curse. A notorious rumor claimed that the Titanic was cursed due to the involvement of a cursed Egyptian artifact aboard the ship. Some versions of this story state that the ship's financier, J.P. Morgan, had connections to an Egyptian mummy's curse, which allegedly caused misfortune and death. However, this tale is completely unfounded and seems to have been fueled by the widespread interest in Egyptology during the early 20th century. 6. Superstitions around the ship. The Titanic was a marvel of engineering, and many of the crew and passengers on board believed it to be unsinkable. This overconfidence, combined with the sheer scale of the disaster, contributed to the myth that the ship was cursed. The fact that the ship was perceived as invincible only made the tragedy seem even more like a supernatural event when it sank. Conclusion: the idea that the ship was cursed is more of a myth than reality. It's a product of the human need to make sense of tragedy and mysterious events surrounding the ship's ill fate. The Titanic was a victim of human error, poor design decisions, and a series of unfortunate circumstances, not a curse.